Welcome to season 2 of the Elle Bee Show. I'm Elle Bee. This season, we're changing it up just a little bit. We're giving you more facts and less opinion. Make sure you go to our website to check out all of our resources so that you can do some additional research on your own. Now, prepare to get stung because the solve is not included. It's 2024. Why are we still dealing with this shit in corporate America? Let's get into it. All right, welcome back. So today we are talking about double standards in corporate world. So corporate America, in your workplace, all of those types of things. So I want to start with the definition again, just to remind everybody what we mean when we say double standards. So first, the definition is unconscious bias plus stereotypes equal double standards. Double standards by definition, a rule or principle which is unfairly applied in different ways to different people or groups. Now, women in corporate America, over time, there have been many things that have come out. There have been tons of research that has been done, reports, studies, all of those good things, which we will be linking information of where you can find some of the research that we use for this episode that talks about the discrimination and the double standards that all women of color have faced working in corporate America. I want to start off though by giving you some stats about the pay discrepancy, which is huge still to this day. Now, when women first attained the ability really to work in corporate America, which kind of started towards the late 70s, early 1980s, the pay gap was huge, like really big, like maybe 30-something cents to the dollar of a man. Now, things have improved since then, but it's still extremely low. So according to the research in 2022, women ages 25 to 34 earned about 92% as much as men in the same ages, but women ages 35 to 44 earned about 45 to 54%. 35 to 44 and 45 to 54 earned about 83% as much. So the ratio dropped to 79% for women ages 55 to 64. So the pattern of women making less money than men has not changed that much over time. It is an even worse comparison when you break it down by racial groups. White women make more than black women make more than Hispanic women make more than Asian women. And that is something that we really need to get away from. Now, it's not the same across the board with all companies in corporate America or Fortune 500 companies or things like that, because there are some companies that do participate in equal pay for equal work. Men and women that do the same job, they do make the same amount of money. But the overwhelming majority of companies, this is still what the statistics are. I believe the last time that a study was done, black women were making about 64 cents to every dollar that a white male was making, even if they were doing the same thing, same job, same educational background, same experience, same across the board, except when it comes to the paycheck. And why is that? Is it because women are not able to do the job, or they just are not as valued? I think it really comes to the value that women have at work. And a lot of times it's like, as we talked about earlier this season, it's like you can't be too vocal, or you can't show too many emotions. You can't be 100% authentically yourself, because if that is the case, then, you could end up getting walked out the door because you express yourself in a certain way, and that's not deemed as appropriate for the workplace. Like, we've all had not we, well, most women have had some type of situation if they've ever worked in corporate America or any job for that matter. It doesn't necessarily have to be in corporate America, but if you're a working woman in this country, at some point in time, you have experienced some type of discrimination or some type of double standard that has been set to say that you can't do this because you're a woman or you can't be as good because you're a woman. And that is like disparaging, disrespectful, and it's sexist. And we are in 2024, maybe 2025 by the time this episode airs. I'm not sure yet. But the age that we're living in and the time that we're living in, we should be way past all of those things at this point in our society. Women can be leaders. There are very few women that run Fortune 500 companies currently. There have been very few women that have run Fortune 500 companies over time, which makes absolutely no sense. And it's not the same thing as women. Well, if a woman wants to start a family and have a baby, she can't get a promotion if she becomes pregnant because she's going to take time off to spend with her child. But nobody ever does that with men. They don't say, oh, you're going on paternity leave, so you can't get a promotion because you're about to be out for 12 weeks or 18 weeks or whatever the time is, which is technically not enough. Because in other progressive nations around the world, you can get 11 months, a year of maternity leave, paternity leave when you have a child and expand your family. So you have that time to bond with your child, and it's not counted against you. You can still get a promotion and have a family. But here in this country, it is not the same. There should be a universal standard that parents, when they have a new child, get like a full year to be with their child. A lot of times they get 6 weeks. Sometimes they get 8 weeks. Sometimes they get 12 weeks. 12 weeks. 12 weeks for maternity leave. That is 3 months. That is not enough time to bond with your newborn child. It's just not. And women have put their careers on hold or just said, I'm just going to give up my job altogether. And why is that the option, the choice that they have to make? It shouldn't be the only option to say either I'm not going to have kids even though I want to have a family because I don't want to give up my career, or I'm going to wait until I'm way established in my career to say now I'm going to have a family, but then maybe have complications because the body is older and different things happen at different times and stages in a person's life when they are making these decisions. Now, granted, there are some women that don't want to have families, they don't want to have kids, and that is totally fine, and that is their decision. But you also can't judge a woman that doesn't. So it's just like women have all of these things that are against them. It's either you have a kid or you don't have a kid. If you have a kid, great. You can't get a promotion. You can't make more money. You can't advance in your career because you have a kid. You got to be with your kid all the time. Or if you have a kid, what kind of woman doesn't want to have a kid? Why don't you want to have a family? Why don't you want to, raise children? Why don't you want to bring life into this world? Why are you choosing your career over your family? Why are these questions never asked of men? Ever. Ever. They're never asked of men, but they're always asked of women. Does that seem fair to you? It does not seem fair to me. And it's like, well, that's just the way the world works. That's not how the world works. That's how this country works, which is drastically different. So just to wrap up this whole maternity leave situation, when a man's salary can increase due to parenthood, but a woman's salary will decrease due to becoming a parent. And this is just, highest level of unfounded bias for people, which assumes that the primary role of a man is a caretaker and the primary role, is a provider, and the primary role of a woman is the caretaker. So, yeah, we're over that. Now, let's get into just some of these definitions of, when we talk about bias and unconscious bias and what's rooted in bias and all these other type of things. And I want to be just really clear on this. So I'm going to read this to you because I don't want you to be confused about what it is that I am saying. So, rooted in unconscious biases and stereotypes drive these double standards, shaping perceptions and expectations about how women should behave and be treated in professional settings. Therefore, what that translates into is that if a woman says something like a man, when he is considered to be joking, she is considered to be bitchy. The fuck. Moving on. Personal brand and communication evolution disparity. Women's communication is evaluated differently, often with negative consequences for their reputations and careers, such as being stereotyped as bitchy and or bossy for assertive behavior. Why is all of a sudden, because I'm passionate about something or I have something that is my driving force, it's just like, no, you're too emotional, you're too in your feelings. Oh, she's such a bitch. Because that's really what's being said. Behind your back, sometimes in front of your face. Because people don't give a fuck. They will say, like, if you express yourself that you're doing too much, your emotions are running high, you're not thinking clearly, or whatever the case may be. And it's even worse if you're a black woman, because then you get that stereotype of angry black woman. You can't control yourself, you can't control your emotions, and you're not fit to be in a leadership type of role. It happens. Now, when we talk about this age and wage disparity, which is something that is so critical in where we are in today's society, despite the efforts to address it, women still earn less than men. With factors like weight, age, parenthood affecting women's pay negatively compared to those of men. Now, if you are a plus-size, curvaceous, luscious woman, you are considered to be lazy, which means that you can't do your job adequately, which means that you can't be in leadership, which means that you can't get promoted, which means that you can't make more money. Bullshit. I'm calling it. Leadership challenges. Women in leadership roles face unique challenges, including the need to be balanced of agentic and communal behaviors, along with different gender expectations for delivering critical feedback. So I can't give it to you straight. I gotta coddle you as a woman. I can't give it to you honest. I can't give you the real. I can't tell you how you fucking up. I can't tell you in ways of how you can make it better. I gotta hold your hand and say, okay, well, today I want to talk to you about your performance, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way. I just want to let you know these are the areas you can improve in. But if it was a man, look, this is what the fuck you did wrong. Do better. Don't do this shit again, or your ass is gonna get fired. See the difference? Now, if the woman is saying it the way that a man is saying it, she was so aggressive and I can't believe she talked to me that way, and who does she think she is, and she's not the boss of me. Well, technically she is your boss, okay? If she's in one of those positions, and she can say whatever it is that she wants to say, however it is that she needs to say it, as long as the message will get across. But a woman can't be rude, she can't be disrespectful, she can't be arrogant, she can't be aggressive. She got to be soft, dainty, demure. But if it's a man saying the same things, he can say it however he wants to say it. Don't give a fuck about your feelings, because the message is still going to be received. You might walk out the room saying, he's a dick, maybe, or I need to work harder. You see how the double standard plays into that? So there's this study that was done by the University of Michigan and Carnegie Mellon, which is in New York State, that says strategically trying to make friends with powerful people pays off for men, but it backfires for women. Let me tell you how this comes into play. So if a woman is friendly, she may be considered overly friendly, or she's trying to get some type of sexual favors so that she can sleep her way to the top so that she can become the boss. But if a man ass kisses his way, brown noses his way into those positions, oh, he's smart, he's clever, he has good business acumen. Why can't a woman be smart and clever and have good business acumen? Because let me be crystal clear when I say this. Please hear me and hear me well. Every woman does not want to sleep with you. Let me repeat. Every woman does not want to sleep with you to get ahead. Some women are just really fucking talented. Some women are just really fucking smart. And some women are just really better than you. Period. Sometimes women have to play this role of being someone that they are not, putting themselves into positions that they don't necessarily want to be in, just so they can get to the position that they're looking to have. And it's very unfortunate because women play these roles all the time. They wear these masks. They show up as less than being themselves because otherwise they will not be able to get ahead. That is a problem. And in 2024, we are still dealing with this shit. Why do you think there are so many women entrepreneurs? Because we tired. We do not want to have to keep dealing with these situations where we are forced to make choices that we wouldn't have to make if we were a man. Period. Dot. Okay? So back to this study. Women build networks with rich and high status contacts instead of receiving a status boost. Their status gradually decline over time. Why? Why? When they're doing the same thing a man is doing. But a man's status increases when they build these networks. That's why women have to lean on each other. That's why we need each other. Because if we don't lean on each other, if we don't have each other's back, if we don't support each other, then we will never get ahead. In a study that was done by McKinley and Company in 2019, a woman is not believed if she is in the C-suite space if there is not another woman in the space. She's not listened to. She's not taken seriously. Her ideas are not considered. But if a man were to have the same idea, say the same thing, just reiterate it in his own words, oh, Brad, that was such a good idea. Why didn't anybody else think of that? Well, Susan just said it 5 seconds ago if you was paying attention, but because she's a woman, you chose to ignore her. And let me talk to you women for a second. Don't get in these spaces and then don't help the next woman come up behind you. We got to stop doing that to each other. Because if we want to get ahead, we have to work together, because we all know how hard it is to be a woman in corporate America. Let's not tear each other down. Let's not dog each other out behind each other's back. You don't want to be the only woman in the room. And I get it. You worked hard to get there, sis. I understand. But the woman coming behind you is working just as hard. Just as hard. Help her out. Reach back and pull her up. Her journey should not have to be as hard as your journey was to get there. We can all get there together. There is room for everybody at the damn table. It's huge. It's a huge table. We can all sit. We can all eat. We can all win. But when you are stopping the next woman from reaching that mountain top or getting to the point where she's trying to go in her career, when you are blocking, when you are hating, when you are treating her like she ain't nothing, like she don't know nothing, that is another part of the problem. And you doing the work of the people that already are stopping her. Let's stop that. Let's cut that out. So this really, like, there are so many avenues that we can go down with this, but I'm gonna give you two more stats, and then we're gonna wrap this up, because if you can't tell, I'm hot under the collar, sizzling. In a recent Inc.com article, it is indicated that employees accept negative feedback from male bosses much more readily than they do from female ones, which was going back to what I was saying earlier about how a woman has to deliver news for it to be received. We should not have to handhold you. I'm not your mother. If we're working and we're in a place of business, let's get down to business. I shouldn't have to hold your hand. I shouldn't have to coddle you. I should be able to tell you what it is, what was right, what was wrong, where you can improve, and you should receive that and move on. I shouldn't have to soften my tone for you to understand me, or for you to not call me bitchy, or sassy, or a cunt, or anything else of that nature, because that's what you do when you don't like what a woman says. You call her out of her name. I shouldn't have to be all of that. If I'm giving you what it is straight up, accept it. Because you would accept it from a man, accept it from a woman. Period. Now, I'm going to give you this last thing, and then I'm going to leave you with this great quote from a woman game changer. Worldwide game changer. Differences in potential ratings account for approximately half of the gender promotion gap. Women's lower potential ratings do not appear to be based on accurate forecasts of future performances or attrition. Women subsequently outperform male colleagues with the same potential rating, both on average and on the margin of promotion, and women are less likely to exit the firm. So essentially, when you treat us the same and we outperform our male counterparts, that means that we should still get the promotion and the correct pay, not the lower one, the same pay that you would pay a man for us to do the job that we are doing. Stop playing us shady to the left-hand side, because we don't appreciate it and we are very sick of it. Thank you very much. If you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman. Margaret Thatcher. Come back next week. We got more to talk about. Thanks for tuning in to the Elle Bee Show. We hope you learned something today. The conversation doesn't end here. Send this to 2 people and keep it buzzing.